So my name is Brigadier General Chris Stockel. I am the commander of the 351 Civil Affairs Command, or KCOM, out of Mountain View, California. And it is subordinate to the U.S. Army Civil Affairs and Psychological Operations Command, Airborne in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Stockel, S-T-O-C-K-E-L. Hey, so this morning we had the privilege with some of our Civil Affairs Team Alpha that were down here replicating a small portion of the Balikatan Death March. And I got to tell you, as we passed those mile markers, it was a pretty emotional experience, and we were supported by some of the soldiers here of the BCT and infantry battalions that are out here doing maneuvers during Balikatan 19. Hey, so I mean, it's just hard to imagine. History can't replicate just doing a small part of that march. But the human suffering, the toll on the U.S. forces and the Philippine forces on this particular day, and how quickly events happened right after December 7th, and what happened here in Pearl Harbor. And today, or this week, is the 77th anniversary of that. And we were just at a wreath laying ceremony yesterday with the Vice President of the Philippines. And so you can see how important it is to the country here. And the amount of shout outs that we got while driving, and people just stopping their vehicles to take pictures with our soldiers, was just phenomenal. And I should point out to the joint force here, we were joined by some Australian counterparts. We were joined by Marines and Air Force that I noticed as I was marching up and down the formation. Hey, so this is just a great opportunity in Balikatan to do our civil affairs mission. As you know, the Philippine CMO, Civil Military Operations folks, are just taking the lead, and we're working either right there supporting them or side by side. And on the civil affairs side, I'd also like to do a shout out to our Australian counterparts that have been part of our task force here. And then up in Manila, in the capital, where our combined joint civil military operations task force is, we're also joined by several Marines from the 3rd Civil Affairs Group, and of course the Philippine Armed Forces and the Australian, making it a combined joint Civil Military Operations Task Force that I had talked about earlier. So great thanks to all the partners making civil affairs a valuable part of Balikatan 19, and we're going to make Balikatan 20 even better.
Sure. Captain Joseph Enriquez, it's got J-O-S-E-F, last name Enriquez, E-N-R-I-Q-U-E-Z. Right. So the current unit I'm attached to right now is the 520th Infantry out from Fort Lewis, Washington, and I'm CAT Team 304 with Civil Affairs. Took place this morning was a Bataan Death March. Okay. It falls with the Philippine Veterans Association office, and in regards to that is that the Americans and also the Filipinos walked side by side during the Bataan March during World War II from Mount Sama, Bataan, all the way down here to the Capas area, and where they walked within that path together. Some didn't make it, and some it could be pretty emotional where some didn't make it together with the Filipinos and the Americans, but we walked side by side. In regards to the exercise of BK-19, how it does enrich is that we work shoulder to shoulder together, side by side. We learn very much from their style, and we also learn a lot from our style and each other's doctrines. A good example of that is the SMEs that we conducted is they showed us how they specialize a lot in that internal displaced civilians in regards to what happened out here in Marawi a few years back. So it was a good education learning from their part. We shared a little bit about our doctrine and also the style of our way of doing things in a civil affairs way. Our CAT team is here to do a 3-part mission, and the first mission that we're here for is to be on ground at Sarab and work with the IATA population, doing civilian non-interference and also civilian engagements. Our second part of our mission is to go out to ExerciseSK and work and do shoulder to shoulder with AFP that's out there. We did a series of SMEs together, we did Staff X together, and we also did a Mount X together. Part of that Mount X that we did together is that we were able to hire the local population and have them be role players as IDPs. Our third mission is out here is also working with the Philippine Veterans Office and being able to participate in the events for the 7 series of events during Philippine Veterans Week. The 7 series events, the first one that took place was a sunrise ceremony. The second one that took place was a wreath laying ceremony. for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The third one was a parade. The following one was a wreath-laying ceremony at Corregidor Island. The one following after that was a national ceremony out in Mount Samat, which was like the presidential ceremony. Following that is today we are here we did the Bataan March, and we're also here at the Capas National Shrine. And then the last will be a sunset ceremony out in Fort Bonifacio.
Staff Sergeant Caleb Holloway, Holloway. It's HHC 520 Scouts. I'm a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. Today is to pay tribute and remembrance of the Bataan Death March for those individuals that were forced to march and ultimately paid the ultimate sacrifice. We took a small portion of the route that they took, passing some of the kilometer markers and paying tribute. Some of the thoughts that were going through my mind was it's hard to believe that they were put in that situation just to attempt to survive, even though they knew they were surrendering. It was just, you know, they were still going through hell, just trying to survive. I believe it builds a relationship with the Philippines because it still shows that regardless if it was back in World War II, we're still part of that history. We still have a role in this environment. We haven't forgotten about him, and we're never going to. I believe, from my point of view, we won't stop forgetting about what happened back then.